The Empire Super Sprints return to the Capital Region. Tremont doubles up on the weekend. We take the white flag with a second-generation Sportsman driver. Kenny, hey, let go of me. We got to get this thing going. You know, that Race Pro Weekly thing, it starts now. Hello and welcome to another edition of Race Pro Weekly. I'm your host, Mike Warren. Memorial Day and sprint cars are synonymous at the Fonda Speedway, and with the Empire Super Sprints kicking off their 2015 season at the Track of Champions, it was sure to be a great feature. The Lucas Oil Empire Super Sprints making the trip into the Track of Champions for their feature event. And boy, do you gotta love the Wing Warriors coming down the front straightaway to get the start of the feature intact. And it wouldn't take long before the Cobra, Chuck Ebing, would go on the outside to take the race lead away. And the 33F of Stuart Friesen gonna follow. He'll move into spot number 2. Cars on the move, Danny Varon is there, but the caution will come out from Mike Stelter. Up in between turn number 3 and 4, Jessica Zemkin would be on pit road as well in the early going of this event. Off of the restart, cars get a little jingle, but that would be the 28 of Steve Fireball Poirier as he would make his way up through the field in this event. Paul Kenny to the inside, as well as trouble would ensue on the 33 of Friesen as he would slow on the back straightaway. Off the restart, this set up 2 of the Titans in the ESS sprints, as it would be Poirier and Hebing going side by side for the race lead, as Hebing would lead them down the front stretch, and we're only at the halfway point of this event there, folks. The 28 of Poirier now would drive to the inside as they're side-by-side off at turn number 4, but he being too strong that time around, and he'll look to try to switch lanes. Now Poirier will go back as they both get a little squirrely down the back straightaway and into turn number 3 and 4. They're still side-by-side for position, but he being still too strong on the outside lane. Poirier now would get in front of him for a second, but throughout lap traffic, Poirier would bobble enough, and that allows Hebing to get away as Chuck Ebing would grab the win in the first ESS feature of the season. The Cobra picking up the victory. Steve Poirier would finish in second, Paul Kenny third, Davey Franek fourth, and Corey Sparks would round out the top 5. So far this season at the Albany-Saratoga Speedway, the big boys have come to victory lane. Would it be time for one of the underdogs to step up and take a win? Modified feature at the Albany-Saratoga Speedway would see the 37 of Justin Barber lead the field to the green, as somebody trying to make an upset move to get to victory lane in the early going. It would be Barber, Alex Bell, and Brian Whittemore all fighting for position. Tremont Hearn will be on the move once again, but the car on the move was the 3J of Mark Johnson. As the 23 of Bell will continue to lead this, you see Johnson just outside of a top 5 run early in this event. Meanwhile, Kenny Tremont in the SNS Asphalt Paving, car number 115, would be on the move as caution will come out for a right rear flat tire on the 3D of Matt DiLorenzo. And now Mark Johnson to crack the top 5, go to work on Brian Whittemore as the caution comes out again for Neil Stratton in the 87 machine. Off the restart wouldn't take Mark Johnson long as he would move to the inside and take the race lead away. Kenny Tremont looking to follow as he was right in the top 5 with him, and Brett Hearn and Mark Kozlowski going to go Splitsville down the back straightaway as they get by both Whittemore and Rich Ronca. Tremont would look to move into the number 2 spot to get by Bell, and he would grab that spot, and now the battle was on in lap traffic. Mark Johnson looking to head up the middle between the 2 Strattons as Kenny Tremont's right there, and now Brett Hearn lurking, pulls up into the number 3 spot and sits right behind him. Johnson will go to the inside. Here comes Hearn looking for a bid to take the lead, but his progress was stopped by Brian Whittemore as that would allow Johnson to get away as Mueller would slow in turn number 2, setting up a caution. Wouldn't take long off the restart for Kenny Tremont to find something on the top side as he would look to take the spot away as they go up into turn number 1 and 2. Tremont would nose out ahead and go back-to-back at Albany-Saratoga with the win.
You know, out in open going, Mark was better than we were, but you know, at least we got to the outside and we were able to use, you know, the cushion to our advantage. So, I mean, Mark's going really, really good. I mean, he's handled really, really well through the black. He's got a good car there.
Kenny Tremont grabs the victory. Mark Johnson would finish in second, Brett Hearn third, Alex Bell fourth, and Ronnie Johnson would finish in 5th.
It's now time for this week's Facebook fan poll question. Which veteran rivalry have you enjoyed watching so far this year? Is it Kenny versus Brett at Malta and the Valley? Maybe the Doctor and Decker at Fulton? Or do you have another choice? Log on to our Facebook page at facebook.com/RaceProWeekly to cast your answer and let us know what you think. Coming up on Race Pro Weekly, we head to the High Banks. Could Kenny Tremont double up on the weekend? And we go north of the border to Merrittville Speedway for some great wheel-to-wheel action, right here on Race Pro Weekly.
Reputable, reliable, results. That's what you get when you call Rick and the professionals at RCT Roofing. Quality service at fair prices. RCT gets the job done, just like Nick Stone and the RCT Pro Stock. RCT Roofing, we've got you covered.
You hear the roar getting louder, and the earth starts to shake. You brace yourself. The most powerful stock cars on the planet are coming. It's the World of Outlaws late models. Bucking 800 horsepower with 4 barrels of blazing. Every night's a shootout.
The World of Outlaws Late Model Series heads to Fonda Speedway as part of the Great Northern Tour June 18th. Don't miss your chance to watch the greatest late model drivers in the country compete. The track of champions, Fonda Speedway, South Bridge Street, Fonda.
There's only one place in the capital region for you to get the full racing action. Stop down at the Bobco video booth at the track or call 518-399-0937. Bobco Racing Video, the next best thing to being there. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly. So far this season, Kenny Tremont and Brett Hearn have been the class of the field at the Lebanon Valley Speedway, with Brett Hearn picking up 1 and Kenny Tremont with 2. Would it be time for one of them to get another? The Connecticut Yankee of Denny Soltis would be your pole sitter in the 30-lap main event on the high banks of the Lebanon Valley Speedway as he would take the early race lead up into the east end. In the early going of this one, Jeff Watson will be on the move along with the 87X of Paul Gilardi, having a pretty good season in that Superior Seamless Gutters machine. Cars are on the move. The 115 of Kenny Tremont trying to make his way up through the field. He had already gotten by J.R. Hefner, now works to the inside of the 55 of Mike King. Meanwhile, Brian Berger on the move on the outside lane as well. And it wouldn't take long for Tremont to continue to push towards the front as he would go by Wayne Jelly for the position, now put himself in the top 3. He'd go underneath Kyle Hoffman and take spot number 2 away as he would put the slide job on him through turn number 2. And then as he comes through turn number 3 and 4, something lets loose on Soltis' machine, which would give the 115 the lead as that would end the 1X of Soltis' night. Off of the restart, Paul Gilardi to the inside of Brian Berger trying to make his way into the top 5 as Gilardi, Marshall, Berger all running together as the caution will come out for a couple cars tangled together. That's Kyle Armstrong and Andy Bacchetti. Off of the restart, Marshall and Hefner side by side for position and some great racing as the caution will come out again for Chad Jezio in turn number 1. The next restart, that puts Brett Hearn in spot number 3 as he would work on Kyle Hoffman trying to get into that number 2 spot. Berger and Jelly running side by side for spot number 4 behind him as Tremont will continue to get away. It only took a couple of laps with about 12 to go now for Hearn to get into the number 2 spot, but he couldn't catch the 115 as for the 3rd time in 2015, Kenny Tremont goes to victory lane.
I'm impressed with this race car. I mean, the guys have really done a great job. I'm just in awe of being able to drive it. It really runs strong, and things are gelling right now. Hopefully the key to this thing will be to try to keep it going all year.
The Sand Lake Slingshot strikes again with a victory. Brett Hearn would finish in 2nd, Kyle Hoffman 3rd, J.R. Hefner 4th, and Brian Berger would round out the top 5. The Modifieds at the Glen Ridge Motorsports Park would see Bobby veteran Al McCoy lead the field to the green as up into turn number 1 and 2. It would be Al McCoy nosing out ahead as Bobby Vetter would go to the outside and Jeremy Wilder would spring to the inside looking to take spots away in the early going. Bobby Varon and Craig Hansen will be on the move as Varon right into the back bumper of Sean Pangman doing everything he can to try to get around him as Pangman doing a great job holding on to that position, but eventually it would be Varon getting by him as he'd make a move. Varon now would try to race his way up through the field as he tried to go to the outside of Jeremy Wilder to take them spot away as they come down the back straightaway. And now a battle for the lead as Jeremy Wilder goes to the inside of Bobby Vetter. He'll take that spot away as they head up into turn number 1 and 2. Barron would turn it up on the high side, however. He would go on the outside lane. He'd take the spot away from the 53 of Vetter and then go to work on Jeremy Wilder as they head up in turn number 1 and 2. Coming out of turn number 4, Barron just too strong on the outside as he would take that West End towing sponsor, car number 00, to victory lane for back-to-back weeks at Glen Ridge. Bobby Barron grabs the victory. Craig Hansen would finish in second. Bobby Vetter third. Justin Buller fourth. And Danny Barron would round out the top 5. Jeremy Wilder was disqualified due to a post-race infraction. We head back to the confines of the Merrittville Speedway as Chad Brockman going to start 13th, the point leader in that number 3 machine, as things will get started with Wayne Kahn and Chris Steele at the front as Freddie Carlton got penalized on the opening green, as that would set up early in this event with Wayne Kahn on the outside lane taking the early advantage, and he would go high, wide, and handsome on the top side. Car on the move was the 41 of Boyd McTavish, and he would move to the inside of Carlton for the position. As Carlton way up on the top side, here's McTavish going to make a bid as he go to the inside of Chris Steele, and he would nose out ahead at the line and take the number 2 spot away. It wouldn't be long before McTavish and Wayne Kahn would go at it for the race lead as McTavish to the inside now would nose ahead in front. Here comes Kahn fighting to the outside lane, but he would jump the cushion in turn number 3 and 4, and that allows McTavish to get ahead outright. Brockman would pick off Mark Delario as they head down the back straightaway to get another position. He would then go to the inside of Tim Jones for position to try to take that spot away as well. Meanwhile, battle for the number 2 spot ahead of them as fast Freddie Carlton would go to the inside of Wayne Kahn trying to grab the spot, but Kahn way too strong on the top side. As we go back to Brockman through the field, now he battles Billy Dunn trying to get into the top 5, and it wouldn't take long before Brockman would be picking off in the top 3 as he would go underneath Carlton, and that time Kahn jumps the cushion big time as Brockman would head to the number 2 spot, but it wouldn't be enough as he could not catch Boyd McTavish, and he would pick up the victory at Merrittville.
I've been doing my homework, and we got a heck of a race car with here, Jerry Higbee and Hig Feb chassis. We got Terry Vince under the hood with ERD, and I tell you, it's a potent piece, and it's the best I've ever had, and I'm going to use it.
McTavish grabs the win. Brockman would have to settle for second after the hard charge from 13th. Freddie Carlton would finish in third, Billy Dunn 4th, and Scott Wood would round out the top 5. Gary Lindbergh would pick up the win in the Sportsman. Hoosier stocks would go to Jim Latman. Mike Sadusik in the 4 cylinders, and the 4-cylinder truck would go to Danny Worster. We head back to the Fonda Speedway for the modified feature. Darwin Green getting tagged going down the front straightaway, collecting a number of cars. Craig Hansen involved, and spot shadow there. That's Stuart Friesen involved in the opening lap wreck. Keep an eye on that one. Jeff Rockefeller involved as well, along with CJ Morey, as Rockefeller taking a long walk back to the pit area. A tough night for him. Off the restart, it will be Jesse Mueller assuming command of this feature event. Brian Gleason will be on the move in the BBL Company's car number 14G, along with Corey Wilder, as he would go to the inside of Mueller, and he would take the race lead down the back straightaway. Cars again on the move. Now the 2RJ of Ronnie Johnson going to make a move to the outside. He's going to get into the back bumper of Justin Buller there for a second, as he continues to fight for a position in there, along with the 76 of Alton Palmer. Caution for the 1 of Darwin Green, and off of that restart, Mark Keselowski would have the outside of Bellinger for the race lead, as now he would take the lead as they head up into turn number 1 and 2. Bobby Barron will be on the move in that Dover brake car number 00 machine, as Mueller would jump back a few spots, as now the rest of the field starting to even out, and uh-oh, here comes Friesen. Friesen 1 spot out of a top 5 run as he fights with Bobby Barron for that number 5 spot down the front stretch, and he'll slide in front of him through turn number 3 and 4 and take that spot away. Then he'll go by Ronnie Johnson and take that spot away as well, as he would be well on his way towards the front of the field in this feature event after the early incident. Meanwhile now, caution will come out for Craig Hansen, and that would put Stuart Friesen on the back bumper of Mark Keselowski, and see ya. Stuart Friesen, for the 4th time in 2015, picks up the win at the Track of Champions.
Just a great race car. You know, these guys work so hard on it, and it's fast week in and week out. We really got lucky there. That first tangle there, we didn't bend anything up too bad, and we were able to pick them off. That was a wild one.
So Stewie does it again. Mark Keselowski would have to settle for second. Bodie Bellinger 3rd, Ronnie Johnson 4th, and Jeremy Wilder would finish in 5th. Chad Edwards would pick up the win in the Sportsman, Nick Stone in the Pro Stocks, and Jerry Cohn in the Street Stocks.
When we come back, we go back to Albany-Saratoga for a Pro Stock race you'll have to see to believe. And we go to the Ridge to check out some great Sportsman action. It's all coming up on Race Pro Weekly.
Performance, quality, service. That's DMC Racing Products. Hundreds of name brand parts, competitive prices. That's DMC. DMC Racing Products, race to win. Some of the music you've heard on Race Pro Weekly this week is by AJ Jansen, Country's Rebel Rose, bringing you a mixture of high-energy rock and sultry country roots. To hear more and for your free download, check out ajjansenmusic.com.
Hey race fans, the FedEx 400 benefiting Autism Speaks at Dover is just around the corner. And Matt and I have teamed up to raise awareness for a great cause.
That's right, Denny. From now until May 31st, we're encouraging everyone to donate to Autism Speaks, the world's leading autism science and advocacy organization.
With your help, we can learn more about the causes of autism, develop new treatments, and get valuable resources into the hands of family who need our support.
You can make a difference today. Simply text RACING to 30644 to get started.
And be sure to tune in to the FedEx 400 benefiting Autism Speaks from Dover on May 31st.
You'll see me in Victory Lane.
Yeah, to congratulate me.
To celebrate a great race and a great cause.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly as we return to the Lebanon Valley Speedway for some small block action. We head back to the high banks for the small block modified feature event as Brian Peterson would lead the field to the green as they go open to turn number 1 and 2 as Chad Pierce would spin it up in turn number 1 and 2, bringing out the caution, so we'll try it for a second time. To head up through turn number 1 and 2, Kim Lavoie has something go amiss. She pulls to the inside. Brett Haas goes around, collecting Timothy Davis and the 171 of Tommy Faxon, and, well, we'll do it a third time. Third time's got to be a charm, right? Nope, down the back straightaway on the first lap, Ryan Charland ends up hitting the outside wall, as that would bring out the caution once again, and we would finally get going here in this small block feature event, with Brian Peterson taking the race lead up into the east end for the first time. Cars would be on the move as they head down the back straightaway, but now Drellis going to make a bid on the 82 of Brian Peterson. Of course, Demetrius Drellis with a third place finish a week ago. Kenny Tremont would slide into the number 3 spot. Meanwhile, in front of them, Drellis would take the race lead away from Peterson as they head down the back straightaway. Cars would be on the move, however, the 45 of Wayne Jelly and the 13 of Frank Horde, and then Kenny Tremont would move into the number 2 spot as he would get by Brian Peterson. Olden Dwyer and Brett Haas looking to make their way back up through the field as we head to the front. Drellis having power steering issues throughout the entire event as Kenny Tremont tried to do everything he could to run him down. That time Drellis tries to hang on as Tremont has to pump the brakes. He gets caught way up to the top side. That allows Harrington to get by. Demetrius Drellis would come through the corner here as they head down the front straightaway at the white flag as Wayne Jelly would slide in front of Tremont and Harrington to take the spot away. Drellis would be able to hold on to it all, however, as he gets his first career small block modified win. Drellis picks up the victory. Wayne Jelly would finish in second, Kenny Tremont third, Jason Harrington fourth, and Ryan Darcy would finish in fifth. Chris Curtis would grab his first career win in the Sportsman. Rob Yetman would win in the Pro Stocks. Pure Stock 1 would go to Doug Olds. Pure Stock 2 to Dan Olds. Ray Hall Sr. would take Pure Stock 3. And the Crate Street Stock feature would go to Don Denyu, which was run in Pure Stock number 3. We head back to the Albany-Saratoga Speedway where Norm Lubier would take the early race lead in the Pro Stock feature event in what would be a caution-filled affair. As you see one car going around early as a lot of cars coming together. Cale Neer involved along with Bill Smith. Then off of the restart, the car on the move would be the number 7 of Chucky Domblewski as he would go to the inside of Scott Lawrence as they come around to click off lap number 1 in this event with Lubier still out in front. Rob Yetman would go around as he would get loose going through turn number 3 and 4 as a couple cars narrowly missing him, including the 93 of Kenny Martin, but Scott Lawrence and another car involved up there. Jeff Washburn would take the lead off of the next ensuing restart away from Lubier as Domblewski tried to follow underneath him. cars would make a little bit of contact coming down the front straightaway as they were ping-ponging all over the front stretch in this one. Meanwhile, Kim Dool would make a bid to the inside of Washburn, and he'd take the race lead away, looking for his second win of the 2015 season. Kenny Martin would be on the move. He would get into the quarter panel of the 7 of Chucky Domblewski as they would come together on the front stretch. Cars going out of shape behind him. Eventually, Martin would shake off Domblewski, and Dave DePaula would spin down the front straightaway. Off the restart, 3-wide battle as Kenny Martin would move into the number 2 spot to go around Washburn and Speed, and then Washburn and Speed would get hooked coming down the front straightaway in this one as they would eventually shake loose, and then Kenny Martin would use the inside lane to get by Kim Dool and take the race lead away. Norm Lubier would get into Byron Westcott, which would collect Cale Neer, Rob Yetman, and Daniel Sanchez up there, as well as Yetman would come off the hook in this event. Kim Dool would try to throw everything at Kenny Martin along with Bernie Companion in that 93, but it would be Kenny Martin taking home the win. The Pink Panther gets to victory lane. Kim Dool would finish in second, Bernie Companion third, Brandon Amy fourth, and Robbie Speed would finish in fifth. Other winners on the night, Jeremy Pitts would grab the win in the Sportsman. Chris Ronca would make every single Ronca that's ever raced getting a win at the Speedway as he'd pick up the win in the Limited Sportsman. Randy Miller with 3 in a row in the Street Stocks. It would be Mike Perotti grabbing the win in the single cam, and in the dual cam it would be Steve Ryan. We head back to the Glen Ridge Motorsports Park for the Sportsman feature event as Happy Harry Schaefer in the 21 will lead the field to the green. Shea Montgomery in a duck in right behind him. Brian Pesolano there with him running for position as they head through turn number 3 and 4. Pesolano will move to the inside of Montgomery, looking to take the spot away. He would, but Montgomery will look to cross over. Meanwhile, Harry Schaefer way out in front on the field as he would continue to lead this feature event as Montgomery would follow with him in lap traffic trying to run him down, but this would be behind Schaefer as he would grab the win at the Ridge. Happy Harry Schaefer picking up the victory. Shea Montgomery would finish in second, Chad Edwards third, Tony Ferrone fourth, and Dave Constantino would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night, Pete Vila would grab the win in the 4 cylinders, Anthony Nacella in the midgets, and the 600 XL Dash would go to Jamike Soul.
It's now time for this week's Berkshire County Network Driver Spotlight with young sportsman hotshoe Michael Sabia. Race Pro Weekly is brought to you by Bob Hilbert Sportswear, Racing Electronics, Emmerich Associates, Tranquil Touch Healing, New England Racing Fuels, and Sunoco Fuels. Coming up, Fast Eddie goes one-on-one with a second-generation driver who is tearing up the local tracks. And we'll give out our NYSSCA Performer of the Week. Race Pro Weekly will be right back.
I'm Brian from 1-800-GOT-JUNK. This is my main man, Tom, and my other main man, Tom.
You never know how much junk you've got until you move.
Point to something you wish would disappear.
Would it be possible to... It's gone!
All you have to do is point.
Where have you been all my life?
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Where is it that going green is going strong? Where trees are planted so emissions can be cut down. Where clean ethanol blend fuels race cars and waste oil never goes to waste. Where is it that the sun comes up and we put it to work, and the passionate fans are just as passionate about helping out? Where? Nowhere but NASCAR. Learn what small steps you can take to make a big difference at NASCAR.com/green.
The Choices 301 program takes a multifaceted approach aimed at educating the public about the realities and dangers of what can happen when bad decisions are made inside a motor vehicle. Don't hesitate to designate. If you are a tracker series that would like to be highlighted on Race Pro Weekly, email us at show@raceproweekly.com. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly. This season, Tim Hartman Jr. has the tough deal of trying to balance the end of his college career and racing since he's gotten back to the state of New York. Our own Fast Eddie sits down with Hartman to talk about his 2015 season.
Timmy, back home from college, racing here at Albany-Saratoga. How's that feel?
It feels great to be back. I'm so glad to be done with school. I was done with it. I missed racing these first 3 weeks. having to sit on the sidelines down there and get texts back and forth from my dad to see what was going on. It was really tough. So I'm glad to be back here.
Tell the folks who may not know who you are, how long you've been racing, and where you've been racing.
Well, my name's Tim Harmon Jr. I've been racing Budget Sportsman since 2009. We've been all over the place as far as tracks. We've been regulars at Albany-Saratoga, Lebanon Valley, Fonda, Devil's Bowl in Vermont, and a couple sporadic races here and there at Glen Ridge.
What's the best track or the track you have the most fun at?
I have the most fun at Albany-Saratoga. I grew up here. My dad raced here for a lot of years, so I grew up at this place. So I took a liking to this really early. It's where I learned how to drive. So I got to say that Albany-Saratoga is definitely my favorite.
Your dad has many laps around this place. How big an influence is he on your career?
He's a very big influence. Without him, I wouldn't be doing this. And it's very advantageous to have someone with his knowledge and experience behind me. It just really helps me. He's helped me learn a lot. He's taught me how to drive. He's taught me how to set up these race cars so that one day maybe I can take over for him.
What are your plans going forward for the 2015 season and beyond?
Albany-Saratoga. That's our only plans right now. We plan on being regulars here for the foreseeable future. Like I said, we've raced everywhere else, but Albany-Saratoga is our favorite, so we came back. We feel like this is home. This is where we go really good at this racetrack. We got some wins here, and this is going to be the resting place for us for a while.
How competitive is it here in the Sportsman division?
It's extremely competitive. You know, week in and week out, you have 10, 15 guys that can win a feature, and the races are so short. Being 25 laps, it's hard to get to the front when you're starting in the back, and it really helps a lot of guys to be able to get wins and get good finishes, and it's really competitive.
Who do you have to thank this season?
Well, obviously my father. I can't thank him enough for what he does for me, and my mother as well, my grandparents, Lucier's Auto Body, Racing to Learn, B-Dry System, Bemis Trucking, Big Man Painting, Heiko Fabrication, and all our friends and family that come and support me every single week. It's just, I really, really appreciate it.
It's now time to give out this week's NYSSCA Performer of the Week award, and for the second time this season with his back-to-back wins, it will go to the Sand Lake Slingshot, Kenny Tremont. Tremont, of course, already eligible for our NYSSCA Performer of the Year award given out at the end of the season. That's all for this week's show. For the latest news, results, and photos, check out Race Pro Weekly online at www.raceproweekly.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So for myself, Amber Chalmers, Fast Eddie, Scott Morlock, and everyone that helps put Race Pro Weekly together, thank you for watching this week's episode, and we'll see you next time.